Here are three things you may or may not know about racism. Number one, it exists. Number two, it's exhausting for everybody. Number three, it's a manifestation of something much deeper psychologically. Listen, I spent over 40 years of my life being a card-carrying racist, but it wasn't after I'd changed and evolved and I had a few years separation from that way of thinking that I began to understand how I could be taught to be racist. And nobody at any point in my life ever came up to me and said, "Hey, little dude, this is what hate is. This is how you hate, and this is who you need to hate." It doesn't work that way. Then I began to see that this racist ideology came from arrogance, ignorance, and insecurity. And I had to really dig deep to figure out why I had such disdain for Black Americans, but not people of Hispanic or Asian or Native American or Italian descent. It didn't work that way in my mind. It sucks to admit that I was willfully ignorant. I was arrogant. I was insecure. I was highly prejudicial. I was biased. I stereotyped people. I fit a lot of the stereotypes you would have of somebody that was guided by a racist ideology. But when I started to break it down even further, then it hit me. I spent 10 years as a drug addict, and it occurred to me that my addiction and my racism came from the same place. My inability to cope. Drugs helped me cope by numbing me, by taking me out of my own head and helping me feel comfortable in an uncomfortable world. But my racism was even more addictive than that, because what my racism, my bias and prejudice, what it allowed me to do was not be accountable to myself, because I didn't have to look into the mirror and blame myself for my own problems when I can simply blame another group of humans because they look different than me. And I would reinforce this by living in an echo chamber and confirmation bias. I would only look up things that supported whatever narrative I was believing. My racism allowed me to feel superior to other people in some way, simply because the level of melanin or lack of melanin that I have in my skin. And I was also born and raised in a country where people who look like me have always been celebrated. We all have our own version of unhappiness and misery inside of us, but racism allowed me a way to point and direct that hate and anger that I carried inside of me down towards somebody else. It allowed me to justify the manifestation of my lack of coping skills through racism, through addiction. It allowed me this false sense of coping and getting by. And it sucks when you realize you have this giant flaw in your own character. It sucks when you realize how wrong you've been. It sucks when you realize that you can't be racist and serve God. And it really sucks when you realize and you boil it all down to, my racism existed because I just didn't know how to deal with shit. It's a horrible way to live, isn't it?